From Washington, D.C., this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Hena Zuberi. First, the headlines. South African president wants travel bans urgently lifted. Turkish parliament speaker accuses France of hypocrisy. Republican Congresswoman makes Islamaphobic remarks about Ilhan Omar. Jews begin celebrating Hanukkah. China using job placement firm to transfer Uyghur Muslims away from their homeland. A mud mosque from 60 after Hijri discovered in southern Iraq. And our top story tonight. The world is panicking about a newly discovered mutated variant of the COVID-19 virus named Omicron. It is spreading across the globe, shutting down borders and renewing restrictions. The European Union chief said governments faced a race against time to understand the new strain. It has also cast doubt on the global efforts to battle the pandemic because of fears that it is highly infectious. Omicron has led to countries shutting down flights to South Africa. The World Health Organization, or WHO, criticized travel bans on southern African countries. South Africa is saying that the new variant has very mild symptoms. The country's President Cyril Ramaphosa on Sunday called on countries to urgently reverse travel bans linked to the discovery of the Omicron variant.
We call upon these countries that have imposed travel bans on our country and our other Southern African sister countries to immediately and urgently reverse their decisions and lift the bans they have imposed before any further damage is done on our economies and to the livelihoods of our people.
President Joe Biden on Monday told Americans the newly identified COVID variant, Omicron, is a cause for concern, but not a cause for panic. He told reporters that he doesn't anticipate further travel restrictions in light of the new COVID variant.
This variant is a cause for concern, not a cause for panic. We have the best vaccine in the world, the best medicines, the best scientists, and we're learning more every single day. And we'll fight this variant with scientific and knowledgeable actions and speed, not chaos and confusion. The degree of the spread impacts on whether or not there's a need for any travel restriction. But that's not, I don't anticipate that at this point. And we'll see. We'll see where that works.
The Speaker of Turkey's parliament accused France of hypocrisy on Sunday after it barred a campaign launched by the Council of Europe against anti-Muslim hate speech. Mustafa Stentop was speaking at the 143rd Assembly of the Inter-Parliamentary Union in Spain. He criticized France for vetoing the anti-Islamophobia campaign despite having a significant domestic Muslim population. Stentop said populism is jeopardizing democracy and human rights. The Inclusion and Anti-Discrimination Division of the Council of Europe launched the initiative within the framework of combating discrimination against women wearing headscarves. Colorado Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert has tweeted an apology to the Muslim community. This was after a video showing her making anti-Muslim comments about Congresswoman Ilhan Omar surfaced. In it, Boebert implied Omar had been mistaken for a terrorist in an elevator on Capitol Hill. A Minnesota Democrat, Omar tweeted on Thursday, "Anti-Muslim bigotry isn't funny and shouldn't be normalized. Congress can't be a place where hateful and dangerous Muslim tropes get no condemnation." On Friday, Omar called on House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy to take action against Boebert. Boebert has a history of racism and ties to far-right and white supremacist groups. During the January 6th insurrection, she tweeted House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's location. She has also appeared at events with far-right militia. Jewish people worldwide began celebrating the start of Hanukkah, known as the Festival of Lights, on Sunday. Hanukkah lasts for 8 days and nights, starting on the 25th day of the Hebrew month of Kislev, which falls in November or December, according to the Gregorian calendar. Each night, a candle or oil-based flame is lit on a 9-branched menorah, symbolizing the miracle of God in this world. Jewish people also celebrate the holiday by reading Holy Scriptures. Pro-Palestine Israeli groups protested Israeli President Isaac Herzog's visit to a disputed holy site in the occupied West Bank. Herzog attended a candle-lighting ceremony at the Cave of the Patriarchs in Hebron to mark the Jewish holiday of Hanukkah. The site of the Ibrahimi Mosque was exclusively an Islamic place of worship, which the Israeli government divided in half. Hebron, the biggest West Bank city, is home to about 1,000 Jewish residents living under Israeli military protection, amongst more than 200,000 indigenous Palestinians. The shrine, believed to be the burial site of biblical figures including Prophet Abraham, who is also recognized in the Quran as a major prophet, is frequently the focal point of tensions. In 1994, American-Israeli settler Baruch Goldstein killed 29 Palestinian Muslim worshippers inside the shrine with an assault rifle while they were praying during the month of Ramadan. A group of non-governmental organizations placed 6,000 green lights in front of the German parliament to demand it allow refugees blocked at the border. An estimated 6,000 Muslims from Syria and Afghanistan are stranded at the border between Poland and Belarus. Poland, supported by the European Union, is blocking them from entering to claim refugee status. Germany in the past has welcomed almost 1 million refugees fleeing Syria. The latest U.S. Pentagon report shows that Daesh in Iraq and Syria has weakened, but remains a priority for American national security interests in the region. The quarterly report is from the Pentagon's Inspector General on Operation Inherent Resolve. It provides the most comprehensive assessment of the U.S.-led diplomatic and military operation against Daesh. Amongst its finding is that the United States and its coalition partners are essential to the mission's success. The Iraq-Syria border remains an area of concern for ISIS activity, the report says. Other factors shaping the environment are economic hardship, the COVID-19 pandemic, and a devastating drought, especially in Syria. Al-Qaeda chief Ayman al-Zawahiri released a new video on the group's official Al-Sahab media, criticizing the United Nations for being hostile towards Islam. Al-Zawahiri's speech aimed to warn the Islamic nation about the threat that the UN poses. He said that the United Nations was created by the victorious powers in the Second World War with the aim of imposing a political system and doctrine on the entire world. It is unclear when and where the video was recorded. Al-Zawahiri is an Egyptian physician wanted by the FBI for murdering American citizens. The U.S. is offering a $25 million reward for information leading to the apprehension or conviction of Ayman al-Zawahiri. Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan recently sat down with American Islamic scholar Sheikh Hamza Yusef to talk about his spiritual journey and the importance of faith. Yusef is president of Zaytuna College in California. Khan has always been vocal about his faith and journey towards the path of spirituality. The former cricket megastar also spoke about his motivations for becoming a politician. The interview aired on state broadcaster Pakistan Television Corporation on Sunday. Khan said he spent 22 years of his life struggling to become prime minister. He said the only reason he did this was because he wanted and believed he had responsibility towards society. Khan said he wanted to make Pakistan into an Islamic welfare state based on how Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, ran the city-state of Medina. Radio Free Asia's latest report says Chinese authorities are forcing Uyghurs from East Turkestan to other parts of the country. The report revealed that Uyghurs were being transported with the help of a job placement company based on the mainland. According to the report, the firm has already transferred more than 3,000 Uyghur workers, including children as young as 16 years old, from camps to other regions. The report said that the firm is planning to relocate thousands of Uyghurs by the end of next year. Serwi Hussain of Justice for All criticized the practice in a statement, but asserted that China for long has been working on reducing the presence of Uyghurs in their homeland of East Turkestan. Serwi Hussain stated that the forced migration is indeed integral, and it's a part of the ongoing genocide in the region. It is the Chinese government which is behind such operations, she said. We'll be speaking with Serwi in detail later in the show. A British museum excavation team has discovered a mud mosque in Iraq's Al-Rafia district in the southern Dhikr governorate. The mosque dates back to the Islamic year 60, an Iraqi news agency reports. Ali Shalgham, director of the Department of Investigation and Excavation in Dhikr, said the discovery is important because the mosque dates back to the emergence of Islam. The British team discovered the mosque with help from locals. The find is situated in the middle of a well-defined residential city. The mosque is 26 by 16 feet. Thailand's annual festival for monkeys is back after a 2-year hiatus. A special banquet was held in the Thai town of Lopburi on Sunday. Lopburi's annual festival of fruits for its macaques has been a tradition since the late 1980s. This year's Monkey Buffet Festival saw about 1,000 hungry monkeys descend on tables and wheelchairs piled high with fruit outside the town's 800-year-old Pra Prang Samyod temple. An organizer of the festival said the monkeys have a special taste for durian, a pungent tropical fruit popular across Southeast Asia. Thailand is also becoming a major halal tourist destination in Southeast Asia. The nation's population is 5% Muslim and has many halal initiatives, including halal hotels. Coming up next, after the break, is our in-depth analysis segment on Uyghur forced labor. So stay tuned and we'll be right back after these messages.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Despite the development of a COVID-19 vaccine, millions around the world will not have access. We need a vaccine that's free and available to everyone, everywhere. It's time for a people's vaccine.
Dad, they took over my bedroom. Come on, come on. Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Welcome back. We have with us Serwi Hussain, who is the team lead for Justice for All's Save Uyghur campaign. And we're going to be discussing the new article out by Radio Free Asia. Thank you so much for joining us, Serwi.
Thank you for having me today.
So Sirvi, tell us more about this article. What is Radio Free Asia reporting?
Yeah, this report really adds to the body of the research and a report that Australian Policy Strategic Institute released, titled as Uyghurs for Labor. And this morning, I read this article, and according to this article produced by Radio Free Asia, more than 3,000 Uyghurs who are from Kashgar were transferred to the innerland cities, some industrial cities of China, into the forced labor factories. And this transfer is conducted by a job relocation company, which is located in innerland China and the Sichuan province. The Uyghurs who are from Kashgar transferred into two provinces of China. One is Nanjing and another one is Jiangsu. And according to this report of RFA, 13% of these transferred Uyghurs are actually university graduates, and others have some type of degrees. And when they made the phone call to this job relocation company, the women who answered this phone said that some of the graduates are from the concentration camps, from the so-called vocational training center. And according to the China Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbing, actually he said that this so-called in and out propaganda of the Western propaganda, he called it, of the forced the Uyghur labor and this kind of labor transfer campaign, actually it doesn't exist. But this investigation and the finding of the Radio Free Asia, more than 3,000 Uyghurs who are from Kashgar transferred to the two provinces, Nanjing and Jiangsu in innerland China, proves that what this foreign ministry spokesperson of China said is a lie, blatant lie.
Now, this doesn't surprise you because you've been monitoring this for past year. And one of the things that you've shared earlier has been that these companies actually advertise Uyghurs as strong and healthy people that can be good laborers. And you've seen this on Chinese websites, and you've been documenting this. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, it is not a surprise at all because just in 2019, when Australian Policy Strategic Institute, when they released their report labeled as Uyghurs sold for labor, at that one it said that more than 80,000 Uyghurs, and this is the data from the Chinese state media, actual number can be way higher than this. This number of Uyghur people actually transferred through this massive labor transfer campaign conducted by the Chinese government. And from the various parts of the East Turkestan, cities such as Kashgar and Hotan to the other parts of China, innerland China. For example, Jiangsu, Nanjing, Anhui, Shanghai, and a majority of them are industrial cities. So they already found out that these Uyghurs, forced laborers, actually they are linked to the workforce who are located into workforce, actually Western investment companies, just 82 brands, very famous brands such as Nike and Apple, so on and so forth. So after that, also Save Uyghur team, we have been collecting the videos released by the Chinese state media and also like ordinary Chinese people and Uyghur people who lived in East Turkestan. Or the videos which are released from the forced labor factories and placed into TikTok and Weibo, and it's some kind of Chinese social media platforms. We have been collecting these videos and adding English subtitles and then releasing it through our own Save Uyghur social media platforms. And we found out that majority of these workers are mainly women. And we are suspecting that while the Chinese men are placed into the massive network of concentration camps, and women are transferred into the network of the forced labor, and that they are transferred to different industrial cities of China, and that they are forced to work as a cheap labor force or free labor force. Actually, Chinese state media says that the purpose of such a labor transfer campaign is to eliminate the poverty and creating the job opportunity for Uyghur people in the rural area, southern parts of East Turkestan, such as Hotan and Kashgar. But and it's absolutely voluntary for the Uyghur population to go to and relocate themselves into the hinterland China to work in the forced labor factories. Actually, the government says it's voluntary, but actually this system is coercive, and that Uyghurs don't have any freedom to resist and refuse. So they are forcing them to migrate into the inner land and uprooting them from their homeland. And by relocating them into somewhere else, they would like to dilute the population and change the demographic of the entire East Turkestan.
Please connect this to the broader genocide that is taking place, because not only are Uyghurs being transferred out of East Turkestan, Han Chinese are being imported in from the mainland into East Turkestan as well. Can you explain the changing demographics right there?
So I grew up in Kashgar city, one of the ancient cities in East Turkestan. So where that Uyghur people have been always like dominant form of the society. So and after just when I went to college and I went to Urumqi to get my degree, and at that time just there was a very big train station. Every time I went to the train station, like a very surprising scene, and gave me shock every time. So just thousands of the Han Chinese migrants would just flow out from the doors of the train and disperse themselves into the city. So every day, what I would like to say here is they have been pouring in Han Chinese immigrants from the rural suburban areas of the different various parts of China into my country, into East Turkestan, and they have been trying to replace the demographic in this way. But also they force massive this campaign, even though we say that it started from 2016, actually it has a long history in East Turkestan. For example, the Urumqi massacre in 2009 was actually initiated with an accident between Han Chinese and a migrant Uyghur workers in Shaoguan toy factory in Guangdong City, one of the provinces of China. So those were Uyghur migrants, and the Han Chinese they don't want them to be there, and then they beat them to death, and then so on and so forth, and everything was all the protests happened in Urumqi was initiated by this incident happened in innerland China, that kind of forced labor factory. Even at that time, they didn't have choice to go to that province and work in that labor factory or not. So this is so they have been replacing it by pouring the Han Chinese previously, but recently they accelerated their step to disperse Uyghurs into the various parts of innerland China to change the entire demographic. It's not only just merely changing the demographics of the region. It's also like erasing their Uyghur identity by making them live in somewhere else and diluting their culture, make them forget their language and tradition. And it's actually the erasing this Uyghur cultural and ethnic and a language identity altogether, while physically they are doing the physical harm by conducting a genocide, by placing them into the camp and outside. Such a forced migration campaign helps them, the Chinese government, to assimilate Uyghurs into the big Han culture society.
Thank you so much, Sirwi. So many aspects to this genocide, the settler colonialism, the displacement, the erasure of culture. We'll hope to have you back to discuss some more of these aspects. But thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here again.
Thank you so much. That's all from our Washington studios tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You can find previous episodes and more on our YouTube or Facebook. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit muslimnetwork.tv. Assalamu alaikum and good night.